Who am I? I'm the 80 lady, and I'm home alone. I'm also known as Sandy. I call myself the 80 lady because I'm just about to turn 80 years old. And I can accurately say I'm going to be 80 in the 20s, the roaring 20s, right? And I guess I can look forward to predict that I'm going to be, 90 in the 30s and 100 in the 40s. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let's just concentrate on getting me through the 20s right now. Well, why am I doing this? Well, I'm developing the YouTube channel because I received a lot of encouragement from my family and my friends to do this, and I thank them for their faith in me. And of course, they were concerned that I'd fall flat on my face, but I don't think I will. And I like new and challenging pursuits, so I'm going to continue with this. I want to be part of YouTube's success, and they certainly are successful. I do this for my own enjoyment, and because I want to remain on my toes and be more conscious of the current trends which are evolving in the world. I do it because I want to do some good, hopefully add some value to your life as well as mine. Maybe I can set an example for others who think there's nothing left for them to do, and I want to make you laugh and feel better, and maybe to give you some hope and quell some fears that you might have about growing older. I do this because I know I'm not going to live forever, and so I want to make every minute count. I do this because I'm a talker, and I have a great need to talk and express myself, and the pandemic has tried to shut all of us down. And we mustn't let that happen. We need to communicate with each other. Human beings need that. And we need to do that as best we can. And if this is one way of doing that, I'm willing to try. This sounds so obvious, but each of us needs to live while you're alive, because you can't do it when you're dead. And this YouTube challenge helps me feel more alive. So as you know, as I told you, I live alone. And I'm home alone. So when I get to go out and talk with people, I'd never shut up. I talk. And when I realize I'm talking too much, I justify it by saying, wow, you can certainly tell that I live alone, can't you? I'm sorry for bending your ear, but I have no one to listen to or to talk to, so I need to get all of this out. So thank goodness for you and for lending me an ear. And I promise I will not talk too much, but I have a lot to share with you. And I'm going to tell you about some of my amazing adventures, some of my ideas, some of my favorite products, my hobbies, some of my paintings, some of my successes and failures, some of my stories, and some of my corny jokes, and a lot of how-tos. As you probably know, YouTube is famous for its how-tos. As a matter of fact, that's how this YouTube adventure got started for me. It took me a long time to catch on to what YouTube does and can do. And when I used to call my daughter, I'd ask her, honey, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? And she'd say, look it up on YouTube, Mama. So I would. And I learned the answer to my questions, and I solved my dilemmas. I became a big fan of YouTube platform, and subsequently I saw the possibilities that it offered. Well, now I'm using it to reach out to you, and whether you're home alone or if you're not, I can still talk and be in touch with the world. And when I do, I know that I'm not really alone, nor are you. You have me, I have you, we have each other. I said I want to make you laugh because laughter causes us to open up, relieves tension, helps us relax. Laughter is good for us, especially while surviving the pandemic. So I'm going to share with you my repertoire of corny jokes, which I call my old folks jokes. Try saying that 100 times fast. Like in My Fair Lady, when they tried to teach her how to say, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. Or remember, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So old folks jokes. They may sometimes be a little off color, but I promise I won't shock you too much. And if I can get a little chuckle or even a smile out of you, it'll be a win. Age gives us a great sense of freedom. I have found that after one turns 70, you can do pretty much anything you want to do because nobody pays any attention to you anymore, one way or the other. The world seems to write you off, and if you don't believe me, just wait. I hope you live long enough to find out this for yourself. I know for sure that age is just a number in our head. My husband always used to quote Satchel Paige, the famous Major League Baseball player who died in 1982. Satchel was not sure when he was born, I guess because he didn't have a birth certificate or couldn't locate it, and so he could only guess the year in which he was born, and as a result, he famously said, "How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are?" Good question, right? Think about it. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? A few years back, I found myself as a substitute teacher for young school children. And you must know how brutal they can be when it comes to age or guessing age. And they wanted to know how old I am. So they were advanced enough to count to 100. So I thought, well, I can give them a little bit of a lesson here. I did a teaching experiment. And I started asking them, what age do they think someone is old? So I asked, do you think 18 is old? And a few of them said yes. Well, do you think 25 is old? And some said, sort of. And do you think 40 is old? Well, more of them said yes. So do you think 55 is old? Definitely yes. Well, what about 70? Do you think 70 is old? Well, the class roared with laughter, and some of the boys rolled out of their seats and fell on the floor to show me what they thought of 70. It was hilarious. In other words, 70 was way beyond consideration for them. 70 was ancient. I said, well, if you think 40 is old, trust me, when you're 40, you're going to be old. And if you now believe 55 is old, when you get to be 55, you're going to be old. And if you think you're over the hill at 70, you'll be over the hill. In other words, kids, whatever you decide to think, it will turn out to be true. Because you decided now how old you'll be when you get there. You will become what you decide to be. So be careful what you think. I'm not sure if any of them got my meaning at all, but I tried. So right away, curiosity killed them. They all began shouting at once, and they started asking, well, how old are you, teacher? How old are you? And I answered, I am not old. I have just been young longer than you. Well, that's fun stuff, but I told you I'd try to make you laugh, and I want to tell you one of my old folks' jokes. So if you're ready, here goes. Twin ladies are in an old folks' home, and they had been competitive with each other all their life. One always was trying to outdo the other. But in later life, one of the twins became hard of hearing, and although she didn't like it, she had to depend on her twin sister to help her hear what was being said. And she felt somewhat inferior to that. Well, when they turned 100, the editor of the local newspaper told his photographer, get over there and take a picture of those 100-year-old twins for the front page of the newspaper. Once the photographer arrived, he asked the sisters to sit on the sofa. And the deaf sister said to the twin, what did he say? He wants us to sit over on the sofa. Now, if you ladies would get a little bit closer together, said the cameraman. Well, what did he say? He said, we've got to squeeze together a little more. So they wiggled closer to each other. So now, just hold for a bit longer. I've got to focus. What did he say? He said he's going to focus. And with a big grin, the deaf twin shouted, well, hallelujah, me first. I think that's funny. So that's it. I hope you chuckled. I call this savoring the sweet little morsels of life, because life is a banquet and half the poor suckers are starving to death. So don't starve yourself. Life is too short for stinginess, pettiness, and drama. Laugh hard, love truly, forgive quickly. Forgive those who made you cry, because you may not have a second chance to do so. Be kind, be humble, be grateful, be a friend. Help a stranger and do a good deed today. And if you can't do that for someone else, at least do it for yourself, because it's good for you. And be happy. At least try to be happy. No one likes to be around an old sourpuss. And if you stay unhappy, you're always going to be home alone. So my friends, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, give it a thumbs down. Hit thumbs down twice if you don't like it. And if you like to subscribe to it, please do. Whatever you do, it's up to you. I thank you for your time and your consideration. This is the 80 Lady signing off. Over, but not out.